I got a little carburetor rebuilding tip here I want to show you. One thing, get you one of these magnetic trays and put all your carburetor parts and bolts and screws in it. But the other thing, I don't know about y'all, but I usually don't ever buy a carburetor kit. I usually manage to save everything. Some people buy one just to replace the needle in the seat. Well, I don't hardly ever do that. I mean, it's got to be in really, really bad shape. I mean, I've pulled them apart that were full of rust and I saved the needle in the seat. The needle's usually always good. I mean, unless the rubber's plumb going off the end of it, and that one's metal, so no worries there. And make sure your little spring that's inside the needle's good. But here's the tip. One thing, make sure this little O-ring on the seat is good, because if it's not, it'll continually flood the carburetor all the time, even though the needle is seating. And another one, find you a zip tie that just fits down in there, because it won't scratch it. Fold it over with a serrated edge out. You may have to take a pair of pliers and crimp it like that to make it flat and small enough. And this one may not be small enough, but we're going to try it. And that one's not small enough, so we're going to do this one. And this one I know is a little bit too small, so I'm going to fold it on a little bit of an angle. It's not straight. That's on purpose. And I'm going to mash it. And I'm going to use that to buff the inside. You see all that trash come out of there? I'm going to use that to buff the inside of my seat. And I mean, you do this as much or as little as you want, just whatever it takes to make it look good. I've got the flash on my phone turned on so I can see actually. That actually looks pretty nice. I'll do it just a little bit more. The bottom of the seat ain't so much what I'm cleaning here. It's the sides, because what happens, that varnish gets built up in there and that needle will hang because of that varnish on the sides. But if you clean it up good with a zip tie with the serrated edges out, don't use wire, don't use anything metal, because this is brass, it's soft. You will not hurt it with a zip tie. And you can spread the zip tie like that if it's a small one to make it scrub a little bit more in there. I don't know if y'all can see that, but the inside of that seat looks really nice. I'm going to put this carburetor back together now. I'm going to put just a little bit of grease on this O-ring. I don't have another O-ring like this one, but this one looks good. It's not cracked or broken or nothing. This happens to be a Suzuki carburetor, and the kits are pretty expensive for these. But anyway, especially on the China carburetors, if you order a China clone carburetor for something like a Honda, take it apart and replace this O-ring first thing, because in those China carbs, the O-ring around the seat, I suspect not to be very good quality, because I've seen a lot of those leak. And anyway, that's how you clean them up. Use a zip tie. That's it. Thank you for watching Poor Man's Way. Don't forget to like and subscribe.